So, Adobe conducted a study of over 9,000 content creators, and the findings are pretty surprising. We actually learn about creator mental health. We learn about some tips for starting or growing as a content creator right now. And there's some actually shocking insights in this report. And so I'm excited to dive into these. But if you're just jumping on or watching the replay, smash the like button. My name is Sean Cannell, rhymes with YouTube channel, and I just had my second boy, John Stephen Cannell. In fact, he's literally in a front pack right now, and who knows how good this stream's going to go. If he kind of wakes up, then it'll be over. But in the meantime, here we are, multitasking, and shout out to Parent Life. And I'm excited to get into this study. And so this is talking about creators in the creator economy. This was done by Adobe. I'll make sure that this is linked up in the description down below. And this is pretty crazy because they discovered that 165 million creators have started since 2020. So I'm going to be unpacking some of the highlights from this. And then I have 6 tips for you and kind of some like summary insights. But this might be kind of discouraging. That's a lot of people jumping into the creator economy. But here's what's the good news about that is, yes, I believe competition is rising. More people than ever before want to do this, but also consumption is rising. And what we're going to discover later is that actually the creator economy is very lucrative. There's a lot of money and a lot of money to be made. And so, how many coffee shops are there? How many restaurants are there? If there's people who eat food, there's an opportunity to start a restaurant. If there's people who drink coffee, there's an opportunity to start a coffee shop. If there's people who consume content, there's an opportunity to be a content creator. And I think that's why so many people are joining. Now, since 2020, the creator economy has grown exponentially. And over 1 in 2 creators have began posting in just the last 2 years. Now, what's kind of crazy about this study is it is global. And so it's 9,000 creators surveyed. It was a like weighted, really well done scientific study, or, research based study. And so it's covering Brazil and Korea, Spain, France have been showing significant jumps in new creators. And let me know where you're watching from. Are you here in the US, Canada, Australia, or are you somewhere else in the world? I think us understanding that the creator economy is a global opportunity. And this study really reveals that. Now, one of the things that was surprising to me is they kind of drew a distinction between a creator versus an influencer. And so, um, I often would think, what's the difference? And here's kind of how they defined it. A lot of less people identified as influencers, more as creators. And so this is how they broke up the audiences of this survey. Creators were adults over the age of 18, and they were participating in creative activities like photography, creative writing, NFT creation, and they post, share, and promote their work from these online activities. And here's my summary of that. Creators are somebody that's maybe doing something else. They're a photographer, a videographer, creative writing, and then they're starting a YouTube channel to promote their work. Okay. So then they define influencers differently. Those are content creators who have uh, 5,000 followers on their main social channel and earn money directly through posting social media content. So an influencer is somebody, right, who just is earning money through probably AdSense and being supported by their community. And a creator, this is their survey, is more defined as someone who has some other kind of income stream, some other kind of business model. And what we saw here was that the majority of people that are joining the creator economy fall into this creator category, not this influencer category. Maybe, how do you think of influencers? Do you like the term influencer? You know what I mean? You think of influencers as somebody who like literally just selfies themselves and like their channel is all about just them. That's fine, but that's the smaller segment. Furthermore, they also have this category of business owners, which is content creators who own a business, which includes being a contractor or a freelancer that sells or makes money from creating creative content shared online. And we impact a lot of people here in the Think Media podcast, is a lot of our community. You're a real estate agent, a loan officer, a personal trainer. You have some kind of other business. You're like, let me start using YouTube content, creating YouTube content. Let me start creating social media content to get more leads, customers, and sales in my business. And then they also broke out Gen Z just as its own category and social cause creators for those who are trying to advance causes and issues online. And so, again, it's just interesting what the difference between creator and influencer here. And I'm curious, do you associate a difference with those two? Do you define a creator different? Do you define an influencer different? And I'm actually curious, how do you identify? Would you call yourself a YouTuber, a full, a content creator, an influencer, or something else? Like, when you think about your approach right at this moment to being a content creator and being a part of the creative, entrepreneur, small business owner, and are you, author or speaker who creates content, business owner who creates content? Let me know. So, what they discovered was that influencers are not as popular as they may seem. Only about 14% of creators are influencers. And I know this term gets mixed up, right? Uh, I think about, like, Brennan Burchard has a conference called Influencers, and he defines the term as author, speaker, coach, online marketer, consultant that's kind of in this new world who's influencing culture. He would say that, Mark Twain was an influencer. He'd be right, that Maya Angelou was an influencer. So that's like one term. I know that when we think influencers, though, we think of like, somebody that's literally just traveling to exotic destinations and taking selfies. I'm just kind of curious. So, next, there are benefits to living in creator hotspots. Markets with overall higher concentrations of creators tend to have more happy creators who create more. And note, locational creativity advantages. The US, Brazil, Spain, Australia, and the UK consistently stand out for these factors. What's the takeaway here? One of the findings was location matters. In real estate, they say location, location, location. And I think this is an important insight. Now, you may feel locked down, or of course, your priorities may be family, like mine. Obviously, I have literally a 1 week old boy in a front pack. This is the most ridiculous stream I've ever done. But, you might have, not that there has to be a conflict between family and content creation. Clearly, you can integrate things. But I think the unlock here for me is that there is a benefit to being in a place where there's a concentration of other creators, or the ability to collab, the ability to have synergy. And it probably depends on the type of content you're creating. I just know this. When I was in a small town, I grew up in Arlington and then Marysville, Washington, there was nowhere near the amount of opportunity to grow what is now our business than there is here in Las Vegas. I live in Las Vegas now. Creators are constantly coming here. Events are constantly here. There's all types of people to interview, collaborate with. I can fly to 45 minutes to Orange County. I can fly to Utah really quick, or drive up to St. George. I can get to Arizona really quick. So being in a hub, I've really experienced this idea that location matters. Obviously, LA is a place where that's definitely a creator hub. And then on the flip side, now we spend part-time in Seattle, and we're blessed as our businesses have grown to be able to have family about 6 months of the year where we're around grandparents all summer long. We're out of the Vegas heat. The punchline is just this unlock that this could be something for you to consider, that sometimes when you have a vision or you want something to happen in your career, location matters. And there is such a thing as creator hotspots. And I mean, it just kind of makes sense, right? If you also were going to open up any kind of business, you want to be where the traffic is. You want to be where there is volume of maybe customers or whatever. So positioning, where you're positioning can matter. Maybe you can't change that. And I would have never expected, we didn't even intentionally do this when we moved to Vegas first. We were just following God on an opportunity for a job opening to work at a church. We never thought we would have lived in Vegas. I learned this by accident. I just learned that once I got here, I was like, wow, I'm in different environments. I'm in a more cluster of leadership and creativity and momentum and ambition, and it propelled us forward. Location just matters. And I think this is an interesting insight that the study revealed, that there's benefits to living in creator hotspots. Creating on social is essential for mental well-being. Hit like if you're getting value out of this, and if you are enjoying Parent Life, to see John Stephen Cannell's little face at the bottom of the screen here. This one shocked me. Really lean in for this. They discovered, and through this 9,000 person creator survey, that there is a mental health benefit to being a content creator. As you're watching this, and this new study reveals why now is the best time to create content, I think I'm going to take this a different direction than you expected based on data, that there is a mental health. Now, this is polarizing information. A lot of people out here, right, are talking about the negatives to social media, and that is true. But watch what this study discovered. Creators who post most frequently and spend the most time creating social content are also the most positive. Clinical research has tied social media use with depression among adults. However, in the case of creators who find and derive pleasure from sharing their work, there is an inverse relationship with social media. The more time you spend creating and posting social content, the higher the reported positivity. Wow. So, what do we learn? If we're consuming too much social media content, just scrolling, comparing, to others, like just getting in that dopamine loop, constantly getting fear of missing out, or just being like, man, my life, my blooper reel doesn't compare to other people's highlight reel. Depression's going up, mental health is going down. But creators are more positive and have better mental health. What does that teach us? It's surprising. You need to create more than you consume. You need to get in the game and be a creator, not just a consumer. That if you're posting frequently, there is benefits from that. The study goes on. The more content creators post and the more time they spend creating, the more positive they feel, especially among business owners and influencers. So let me ask you, have you found this to be true? Whether you're struggling to grow, whether you feel like you're just starting, you're not getting the views yet, but have you found that by creating that there's a fulfillment and a positivity and an accomplishment, and that once you punched fear in the face and you finally press record, did you discover that you were starting to be more positive and more happy? Because that's what the clinical research revealed, that even though social media use causes depression among results, that creators who find and derive pleasure from sharing their work, they actually have an inverse relationship with social media and higher reported positivity. Here's the key word: happiness. Creating social content on the daily is just as much a driver of happiness as making money. And I love that because I found that to be true. Of course, we want to join the creator economy for the money we can make. And I'm going to share some stats in just a second with you about that. That's fascinating. But there's a fulfillment to it. There's a fulfillment to making something. There's a fulfillment to pressing upload. For those of you that are actually uploading content, do you feel that? Are you pumped when you're about to make that video go live? Are you pumped when you're about to like schedule upload, or you're about to hit go live and be like, all right, here we go. 7 views. I mean, I hoped for more than that, but they're even just doing it. There's something really powerful. And for creators and especially influencers, using or creating social content is even ranked as a top necessity for mental health. Pretty crazy. And so this increased participation in creating content is tied to a more positive mood across all countries. In the US, 70% of people have a more positive mood from creating content. In every country, there's a boost in positivity if you are not just consuming, but you're creating. And so creating social content on the daily drives just as much happiness as making money. And they discovered this. And among those who earn money, like business owners and influencers, posting daily further boosts positivity. For creators and especially influencers, using or creating social content is even ranked as a top necessity for mental health. But creating content online fuels creativity and personal fulfillment, which drives creators to continue creating. So, fulfillment. Now, notice on the right side of the screen, and I know this is small, and I'll link this study up in the description. If you're here live, I haven't linked it up yet, but it will be linked there on the replay. So, the top reasons for developing and creating original social media content more often, 61% of people said, I want to continue learning and developing new skills. So, when we think about, I know the headline of this video is like, why now is the best time to start creating content? You might not have thought, oh, because I could have more well being as a result. Oh, because I should start creating content so I can learn and develop new skills. Here's another one: 54% of people, I want to explore new things and have more content to share. So my life can get bigger and more enriched and even more fulfilling. And 50% of people said it's fun. And so there's just something about stepping into the creator economy because of the manyfold benefits that nobody talks about. And I've never seen a study actually prove data about this. And so this is kind of cool. And so in just a second, I actually want to share with you the 10 human drives that I learned in a book, and it's one of my favorite books. And I want to share with you the money-making aspect of this. Plus, I have 6 takeaways from all of this. But if you've been getting value, smash the like button. And today's Coffee with Cannell is actually brought to you by 21videotips.com. If you haven't heard about this yet, check this out, and I'll be right back.
If you like content like this, then you definitely want to go to 21videotips.com, where you're going to get 21 amazing tips from entrepreneurs like Patrick Bet-David, Vanessa Lau, Pat Flynn, and so many more. Also, Alex Hormozi's in there as well, where you're going to be learning some of their little known business secrets. And inside of this resource, we're giving you a downloadable guide that goes along with it to help you get impact right away. So go to 21videotips.com right now to get that free resource and this incredible video that has 21 amazing tips from special guests just like this.
If you haven't got access to it yet, go to 21videotips.com. There's a 1 hour long deep dive masterclass with today's top experts in video marketing and YouTube sharing their best strategies for getting views and subscribers. There's also a free PDF download that summarizes all the tips. And this is some of the most bleeding edge information. People actually paid as much as $5,000 for a ticket to attend this in-person content business event that we did. And we're giving you away the highlights of that for free. So there's a link in the description, 21videotips.com. Highly recommend you checking it out. But here's what we're learning in this study of over 9,000 content creators from around the world that Adobe is in like Adobe Premiere Pro, Adobe Photoshop. Adobe conducted this research study. And one of the things they discovered was that creating content leads to more fulfillment and better mental health. Now, key, not consuming content. Not just scrolling all day, watching TikTok constantly, and then feeling like, what did I actually accomplish? That's the key. Maybe not much. But when you create content, you're contributing, you're making a difference. And there's actually a great book called The Charge by Brendan Burchard. And it actually talks about the 10 human drives that make us feel alive. And what I've never talked about this before, but these are so relevant for content creators. And it's interesting. These pieces came together for me because the study revealed, okay, content creators are more positive and more happy. Interesting. And then I thought about, okay, well, why is that? And then Brendan's research, he actually discovered, again, from psychology, that there's 10 human drivers that help us live a more charged life, a more fulfilled life, that get out of the caged life, that get out of the comfortable life and get into a life that is vibrant, that is thriving. And those include things like control. One of the things you can't control is how many views you get, but what you can control is how many videos you upload. And so when you think about the fact that being a content creator, you start being in control of making something. You're building your YouTube channel. You're building something. It gives you control. Again, you can't control the results, but you can control your outputs. And there's something about the confidence that you get after you have hit your 5th upload, your 10th upload. Competence, the competence loop. Like you get more competent as you are learning new skills. Now you might be saying, Sean, when I started, my first videos are my worst videos. I get you. But there's something when you start feeling momentum. Have you felt this? You're like, man, I look back at my first videos, they're terrible, but I'm a little better on camera now. I'm a little more confident on camera. Wow, I've had a breakout video. That competence is a human need to sharpen our skills, to grow. Congruence, being aligned with our values. Caring, making a difference in the lives of people. Connection. I think about all the friendships, relationships, and different things that have happened because I started creating content. I am more connected and my life is bigger now because of joining the creator economy. And then, of course, change. That your YouTube channel can make change. Challenge, one of my favorites. It is challenging to start a YouTube channel. And if you've been afraid and you've been on the fence, or if you've hesitated from punching fear in the face and getting started, I want to encourage you. We as humans crave challenge. We need to get out of being comfortable and get into hard situations. If you've been creating content and you feel like, man, there's pressure around this is kind of overwhelming at times. I want to quit at times. Good. Being challenged is healthy. We don't want to be in a culture where we're afraid of challenge. We want to run into challenge. Creative expression. I mean, that is directly relevant. By being a content creator, what better way of having creative expression, contribution, actually adding value, teaching something, entertaining somebody. And then, of course, consciousness, a greater connection to purpose that is assuming that you actually have a higher purpose, a greater purpose for why you're creating content online. So I just kind of found this as a little break in our tour through this study. If you want to check out the book, I linked it up in the description. It's called The Charge by Brendan Burchard, The 10 Human Drives That Make Us Come Alive. I think it's so fascinating now that data has revealed that content creators are happier. Of course, that's not everybody, and nothing ever is. But as across countries, they discovered higher levels of positivity. I think this is why. When you get off of the couch and you get into the game and you start creating, you get challenged, you start having more connection, right? You start seeing more change, you start growing in competence, you're expressing your creativity. And then, regardless of the results, of course, that's going to give you more momentum as well. But there's something you could be proud of. Like, I look back at my video library just for its own merits. I'm like, man, I've been hustling. I've been putting in the work, and I'm proud of the time I've spent editing and the late nights and of the things I've learned along the way and how I've changed as a human, as a man, as a father, as a leader, how I've been transformed by just joining the creator economy. Wow. Now is the time to start creating content. If you've been on the fence, I encourage you to get into the game. Now, here's some more from the study. More than 40% of creators globally are millennials, and they skew slightly male at 52%. On average, creators are 40 years old. This is fascinating. And this is a huge myth. People think that all creators are Gen Z, and Gen Z only really represents 14% of creators. So let me, if you want to be so bold, where are you at on the journey? I'm coming up November 6th. I'm turning 39. And so I'm about to be one of those 40-year-old, creators, not a 40-year-old virgin. Weird thing to say, but it's true. I mean, I literally have a baby boy here on my, in my front pack. And so if you know how those get made, then you would know that. Anyways, I'm on my way to 40. And so I think that one of the things that surprises people is that millennials is what this discovers is the largest group. So where are you? You could say your generation, right? I know also millennials are broken into millennials, elder millennials, Gen Z, Gen X is a huge group of content creators, and even baby boomers are joining as content creators right now. And so surprising, this is what the data is showing us. And then it also just revealed that Brazil, France, US, and UK have the highest concentration of Gen Z creators, and South Korea and Australia have the fewest. Now, 6 in 10 creators have full-time jobs, but markets like Australia, Brazil, and Japan have a higher share of creators who work part-time. So if you're in the side hustle season, respect. You're in good company. So 6 in 10 creators have full-time jobs. So, and what's interesting is a lot of these creators, which they surveyed, are making money, but it's a side hustle thing. So you're in good company if you're like, man, why am I not full-time yet? Well, there's a lot of people that are creating, they have as a content creator, and they also have a full-time job. So if you also feel the squeeze there, know that globally you're in good company. And even in some of the other countries, there's even more people that are kind of doing the part-time thing. And there's a lot of respect for that. And it's just, it's super normal. Like, that's one of the most exciting things I think about the creator economy is, of course, maybe your ambition, I'm sure, is to completely work from home full-time, have total freedom. However, on the journey, it's incredibly normal to also have a full-time job, but then also have this side hustle, side passion that as it grows starts bringing in extra money for you, your family. And so I found this in this study. Now, 26% of creators in the US are business owners. And this translates to 22 million business owners in the US. And I love this because that's some of our favorite kind of perspective. In fact, I'll keep it moving. I think that we should think more like business owners and less like influencers and creators. Now, here's some interesting things about posting frequency. Years of content experience for a creator. Now, if you're just joining, earlier we kind of defined the difference between creator and influencer for this study. Like, everyone probably has their own definition, but this study kind of figured that out. But for creators, 52% have under 2 years of experience, but 48% have 3+ years of experience. I'm curious, how long have you been creating content? Influencers, they define a little bit differently. They more have had 3+ years of experiences. Then they talked about posting frequency. Monthly or less, 32% of creators. At least weekly, 68% of creators. And that's what you hear, right? Post at least once a week. I'm curious, what is your posting frequency? Daily, 21%. And then it says time spent per week on content development, 9 hours per week for the creator and 15 hours a week for the influencer. And to recap a little bit of their definition, the creator is somebody who's doing something else, like they're a photographer business and they're creating content to help grow their business and get more wedding clients that they're filming. They're a cupcake brick and mortar shop and they're creating content to promote their shop. So it also makes sense why they'd be spending less time per week, because you have other things to do. The blessing of being an influencer, which their definition is someone who just makes their full-time living purely off content creation itself. So if you're making enough money off just doing YouTube ads, just Patreon, just channel memberships, even just brand deals, it's just potentially content. And it's not, I have literally a real estate business to own and I need to make content on top of that. So how much time are you devoting to your content creation right now per week? Are you spending 10 hours a week on your, YouTube channel? Are you spending more than that, less than that? I'm kind of curious. I know for me, right before I went full time on YouTube, for actually about a year, I had freelance clients, 3 main freelance clients, and I served them and was doing YouTube content. But before that, I was full time at a church as a campus pastor and kind of doing tech and media. And I was working about 40, 45 hours a week, of course, for the church, salary full time. And then I was probably investing another 15 hours a week in my content creation business. Alan says, 15 hours a week. Ivan says, I take as much time as I can. And let's see, Black Trunks podcast says, I've been doing 2 to 3 hour live streams every day for 22 days. That's a lot of hustle right there. And so I'm curious, let me know. And we're going to keep it moving. So here we go. The average hourly wage. Now I'm curious what you think about this. And do you agree with this? Is this challenge your thinking, your experience? Now I will, of course, link to this study so you can see the methodology. This was 9,000 content creators, and the ones that the data is pulled from here are monetized. So for the amount of time they're working per week, keep this in mind. They are maybe 6 out of 10 have a part-time job or they have another job. But here's the conclusion of the study, that creators make $61 per hour, 122,000 annually if that was mapped to full-time, and influencers are making $81 per hour, 162,000 annually if done full-time. And I love this because this was comparable to professional income. They compared this to being a software engineer. Apparently, the average salary of a software engineer is 160,000 a year. The average salary of a lawyer is 129,000 a year. This is all based in the USD. CPA 119,000 a year. So if you map, assuming, and it's a big assumption, that you can make full-time income, you actually would earn that much and you could do that 40 hours a week full-time. That's going to map out, 50 weeks a year, probably 2 weeks vacation, 122,000 a year as a content creator. And so pretty interesting data. I don't know. That's what the study revealed. Again, they studied 9,000 global content creators that were monetized. And here's the takeaway is you need to know that this is lucrative. I want to be empathetic. You're listening to this and you're like, dude, that is not my experience. I'm making like $1 an hour. Okay, fair enough. But I will say we have a unique vantage point. Think media, obviously, I think you could equate our entire team as to working in the creator economy. So there's the money they're making. We're doing well. I think about our students, Mary, Nicole, Dr. iHealth. A lot of our students, they're making high 5 figures, 6 figures. Many are making 7 figures. It's a lucrative industry. Empathetically, I'm not saying it doesn't take hustle. And I'm also not saying it doesn't take potentially a year, 2, 3, 4 to build up to momentum and real impact. But there is a tipping point. And I just want to encourage you, there is real money to be made in the creator economy. So while influencers in the UK earn the most per hour, that's cool. Any UK creators out there? More influencers in the US and Germany indicate income is half or more of their monthly income. So to also be clear, and if you look on screen, you can see it says how much the hourly rate of creators versus influencers. Influencers full-time making money from just their content, creators making money maybe from booking clients, selling their own product, or doing something else. Influencers making a little bit more than creators per hour across US, UK, France, Germany. But it's also saying that this is, half or more than their monthly income. So the idea is that it hasn't gotten to a place where it can replace the job. Eventually, the time you're investing in creating content and the 10 hours a week you do so could be very lucrative, but maybe there's a lid to that and you can't go full time. I don't know if I'm processing this well, but this is just very interesting. Yep. Shout out to the UK crew. And this is just cool data of what's happening in the creator economy. Now, rather than aspiring to be an influencer, about 40% of creators aspire to become a business owner. This is one of my favorite parts of this study, is that people's desire. Oh, hey, John Steven, this might be the end of our stream. People's desire is to actually be a business owner, right? Not just a creator. And this is what we're trying to encourage you to do here at Think Media Podcast World. You should think about, man, what is the business I'm starting? What is the problem I solve? What is the, who are my target audience? Who are my ideal customers? Well, Sean, I just want views. Well, your viewers are an audience that's watching your content. And if you're making money from ads, you essentially have customers. Like, a movie is not going to succeed if nobody buys tickets. People even need to vote with their time when watching your content. And so the aspiration, this is just encouraging that most want to be business owners. And I think you're going to have the most success in your career if you aspire to be a business owner. What's the business I'm starting? And then how am I using social media, YouTube, TikTok to promote that business? And so globally, creators are becoming more interested in becoming business owners than influencers. And then also, creators across the board agree that creating online content has a big impact on advancing causes, especially influencers and social cause creators. And there was data revealing that social media can make a real difference. We've seen it, topple governments. We've seen it liberate people groups. We've seen the positives of social media. They probably don't get talked about as much because there are certainly downsides to social media. But if you have a desire to make a difference in the world and to make a difference in the lives of people, now is the greatest time to join the creator economy. So I'm going to check in with my son here and see how much longer he's got. But I want to share with you 6 of my takeaways and tips for you. We'll see if we can get through them all. And so smash like if you've been getting value out of this information. And I'll be right back.
If you like content like this, then you definitely want to go to 21videotips.com, where you're going to get 21 amazing tips from entrepreneurs like Patrick Bet-David, Vanessa Lau, Pat Flynn, and so many more. Also, Alex Hormozi's in there as well, where you're going to be learning some of their little known business secrets. And inside of this resource, we're giving you a downloadable guide that goes along with it to help you get impact right away. So go to 21videotips.com right now to get that free resource and this incredible video that has 21 amazing tips from special guests just like this.
Welcome back to Coffee with Cannell. My name is Sean Cannell, rhymes with YouTube channel, and I've been doing this entire stream with my newborn 1-week-old son, John Steven Cannell. And so I got the binky in his mouth. Let me see if I can go through these 6 tips for you. These are my biggest takeaways, and then check out links and resources in the description down below. Here's your takeaways. Number 1, competition is rising, but so is consumption. And so right now, I think there's a massive opportunity. Yes, 165 million content creators joined in the last 2 years, but competition is up. Number 2, embrace the side hustle. I think there's something powerful about knowing that a lot of creators are working part-time and it can still be lucrative. It can still be a good way to supplement your income. So now is a really good time to start. 3, there's real money to be made. Keep going. Don't quit. There is real money to be made in the creator economy. It is a legitimized way of earning money and making
income. 4, consume less, create more. Surprising, creating content helps your mental health. Globally, they discovered there's more positivity. Listen, not when you're scrolling constantly on social media, but when you're actually creating content. And remember the 10 human drives that make you come alive. Those are really activated when you join the creator economy, punch fear in the face, and actually press record. Number 5, don't be an influencer, start a business instead. So this study even revealed that it's so important, I think, to be thinking about, like Jay-Z said, I'm not a businessman, I am a business man. It's a different way of thinking. It's an entire mindset shift. And if you haven't been listening to our Think Media podcast, we have new episodes every 2 weeks, or I mean, every Tuesday. It comes out every week. We're going to like probably 2-3 uploads a week. So I highly recommend, a lot of valuable content there. But subscribe on here on YouTube, but also on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen. We have some really good episodes, kind of helping you develop the business mind as well as really develop your creator business. That's how we're thinking. We're not just thinking be an influencer. No disrespect to the influencer lifestyle. I just think that you're going to have the most longevity, the most health, the most sustainability, the most, you're not going to have 15 minutes of fame. You can actually make a bigger impact and a real impact when you're not just an influencer, but you start a business instead and use content, use YouTube to promote that bigger vision, to promote your own products and services eventually, and to ultimately promote your vision and mission, which brings us to number 6, use social media to change the world. What the study revealed is social media can make a real difference. And, we're on a mission to help 10,000 purpose-driven people create a full-time living doing what they love while making a difference in the world with YouTube and online video. This is real, friends. You can teach, you can entertain, you can create community, you can be somebody that literally reaches into somebody else's life through a live stream, through a YouTube video, through a YouTube short, through an Instagram reel, and actually bring encouragement, bring education. This whole thing is real. And I think that's why so many people are joining the creator economy, why so much money is flowing into the creator economy, because social media and YouTube can make real change in the world. And you're going to be blown away by the level of energy and inspiration and motivation and vision and purpose that is unlocked when you really lean in to creating content. My name is Sean Cannell, and I would love to do Q&A typically, but as you can see, I had a moment that I thought I was going to lose him, but this is my son, John Stephen Cannell. Look at that shot right there. What do you know about this little guy? And he is officially a week old right now. Mom's taking a nap. And I just wanted you to know, I appreciate you. I'm thankful for you. I may have just disturbed the young gun. And so thanks for hanging out with me today. And I look forward to seeing you in a future episode here on our Think Media podcast channel. We will talk soon.